what a gap up in the markets out there. So is this the bounce? Is the bottom in? Well, we're going to go over these question and answers in this video here and walk you through some of the key levels that the bulls need to continue to hold, need to fight through, and where the bears are most likely going to step in to potentially roll us back down this week. What's going on, everybody? My name's Tony. I'm a full-time trader, and I make a video every single week to walk you through my game plan of what I see in the markets, how I'm planning on trading it, and some levels that you might want to pay attention to as well. So in this video, we'll go over different tickers. We'll go over SPY, Tesla, and Bitcoin are the three that I'm planning on looking at because I feel like those have a good edge. If you have other tickers you want me to look at, please throw them in the comments. And feel free to subscribe because I go over these videos and make them every single week so that you can be a little bit more prepared in the markets and make easier money in your trading. So let's dive into these charts here, my friends. So SPY with a really nice gap. This is very strong, especially with all these upper wicks that came in last week. The bears are defending this area pretty hard. They've been holding it, and then finally Friday had a beautiful gap down. Very, very strong for the bears. And now this Monday, we're having a gap up and starting to squeeze some of these bears out. Could we finally start getting some bulls stepping back through? It looks to be the case, yes. Is the bottom in? Time will tell. We're going to have to get through some pretty significant areas for the bears first. And so I wouldn't start looking at and saying that the bulls are in control really until we start making all-time high closures because we have broken structure here. But can we get an earlier indicator that the bulls might be taking over? Yes. And that would be some strong closures, daily closures up above 590. 590 would be my line in the sand. That's where you're going to start getting some positive option gamma flow, meaning it's going to start feeding on itself. This market moves so much based on options. And once we start getting up above that 590 mark, now we're starting to switch back into the positive side of things, and it should start really running bullish from there. But there's so much more on this market structure that you have to pay attention to. My friends, this move has not gone away just because the bulls now have a bullish gap. The bulls should have never let this get below 575. Should not have happened. The fact that we broke that structure tells me that the bears are in control. Right now, the bears are in control, and you can have bull bounces during bear control. And this is what people get confused at. They're like, but the markets are screaming up. It's like, yes, but the bears are in control. And so you're going to get price action that's going to look like this most likely. And this is something that I am very much waiting on and expecting to have happen until otherwise proven. Remember, it's not about predicting. It's about being prepared for every scenario and looking at the entire picture. Don't get so zoomed in right here on this one move because this is a very bullish gap, and I do think we're going to have some bulls stepping in this week. But it's all about what they do at these important levels. And so the two levels that I am really watching, 575 and 585. Those are big option levels. They're big sentiment levels. There are also some EMAs playing through here on a weekly chart matched up with some very strong resistance. And so if the bulls can start to hold through this week and close up above that, then I do think there's a chance that we could continue the squeeze and we could be returning back to an all-time high potentially. But it's also very likely that the bears start to rotate back down through here and push us lower. So we just need to be cautious. It's, I've been buying the dip down through here. I do think that we could rotate back up, but I'm also going to probably look, if I get a short setup here, to start shorting this market and start buying some longer term puts as we work our way up into that 580 area, because this is also very, very possible as well. The trend on a weekly has been broken. That hasn't happened in years. And now I'm believing that when we get this bounce back up, you've got to be so careful and so patient up through here. Understand what you're looking at and don't get caught. There's going to be a lot of people FOMOing into long positions up through here. Everybody's going to start rotating in. Could this be the bounce? Yes, totally. This could be a dip that's worth buying. To me, though, the structure has been broken. And so now I'm shift out to a monthly chart and I start looking at this monthly chart and going, all right, where's the dip buying opportunity on a monthly? Well, that's really not until about 520 down to 480 area. So there's a lot more room to go lower if this wants to go. Could, again, it just get bought up and we continue the party? Yes, but at some point we need to get a dip and a pullback here on a monthly chart. It's just how the markets play. On SPY, keep a very close eye out on these levels. Now, this is a great gap, a gap up above the 200 EMA on a daily chart here, which is what the bulls could not do all last week. That's saying something here, especially with the bears taking over control. Something that I'm looking at a little bit more, though, would be like a flag pattern. So let's throw in this little flag pattern here, which means we have some top sides coming into that 575 to 580, and that could be causing us to topple back down. So just be aware, this is, in my opinion, is not a super strong basing pattern. Yes, we are putting in a higher low down through here, but the bigger picture, the big resistance, just keep an eye out on this, because we could be running, and it really is just going to depend on what we do at the end of the week, but we could also be rotating right back down and getting everybody in bullish just to pull the rug out from underneath them. So be careful on that. If you're enjoying this content and you find this market analysis helpful, I do a daily market analysis for everyone in our All Access Pass membership. You can check out the link down below for a 7-day free trial of that, where I give you market breakdown. We do live trading sessions multiple times throughout the day, where we specialize in day trading, swing trading, option trading, and futures trading. So you can kind of choose which avenue you want. You can learn all of them. You can follow all of them. You can choose one thing to specialize in, whatever you would like, but that's all found in the All Access Pass. Again, link down below. If you're interested in some free trading courses, we have hundreds of hours worth of free trading courses online. Again, check out the link down below, scan this, and you'll be able to jump into those things. So let's dive into Tesla. So Tesla is finally starting to find some buyers. The bears had a really strong rejection through here, and we are starting to gap up on this now. If we look at a weekly chart, look at these hammers coming in. This is back-to-back hammers. One of my favorite setups out there is a hammer followed by an inside candle, and that just so happened to be a hammer yesterday. This 200 EMA on a weekly holding strong. We were back to smack our face into a 100 EMA, and it just so happens to also be a pretty strong resistance on a weekly. I think best case scenario for Tesla this week is probably more like into that 270 to 280 range. That's about as high as I think it can get. Now, Tesla can run. I mean, this stock can absolutely take off. I didn't like the fact that there weren't any buyers here previously at this support at 280. And so now we have to be careful again that any of this isn't a resistance that's just going to push us back down. But structure-wise, looks really, really good. 220 should not be broken. I highly doubt that we visit back down here at the 200 EMA on a weekly chart, but it could happen. If we zoom over here onto a daily chart, again, you'll see this resistance that I'm talking about. This is a very, very strong resistance. And so I would think somewhere into this box up here is where the bulls will be taking some profits. We might potentially find some bears. And if it can close strong through here, well, we might be playing some catch up and squeezing bears up out of this. Again, it's dropped 50%. It's into a decent buying spot on longer time frames. It just really didn't show the support that I'd like to see here previously, but they can all change here pretty soon. So we'll see if these bulls end up stepping in, but really just keep an eye out on 265 to 280 this week to find out if these bulls are going to be here. If you're not in on this dip, I would not chase this. I would wait and see how we close, wait for a strong weekly close, and then wait for Tesla to use this resistance as a support. So let it close through it, retest back down to it, and then get in. That's how I would play Tesla. Everything right now looking pretty bullish at the moment. You could argue that this was some type of a pennant pattern down through here that's broken bullish. If that's the case, then we have an expected move of this pennant pattern right up through here. Sorry, bringing all this stuff in. So that brings us in about 285. So again, right back into that level that I'm kind of looking at. A lot of things are matching up in that area, so that's definitely a place to pay attention to. The last ticker today, let's take a look at Bitcoin. So Bitcoin broke, again, some weekly bullish structure. It came down to the 50, which has acted as a previous bouncing spot before, but it's not out of the woods yet. Bulls have to start getting some closures back up above, I would say 92,000, in my opinion. We'll see if they can do that or not. We're into a very strong short area. So yes, it's looking bullish, it's running up, but we've got to be very careful, just like the markets at the moment. This could get rejected. We could have some bull traps, throw in some upper wicks, and this thing could be rotating back down. So if we zoom in here on a smaller time frame, something that's going to help you figure out if the bears are going to be here or not is this trend line. So we have this blue trend line kind of following down through here. We've rejected off of it very, very nicely, and we are probably going to be hitting it within the next day or two and seeing what happens here. So if the bears are going to step in, it's also matching my big weekly resistance area at 90,800 area-ish, but pretty much 92,000. It's all matching there. So if we were to hit this over the next few days and we start getting some rejections, look out below. We could be possibly coming back into like 75 to 65,000 area, somewhere down through there. That's your next buying area to see if these bulls are going to step back in and get moving. But if we can close strongly through all of this, again, this should act as some sort of support and continue the squeeze higher. Time will tell. I'm not sure which one it's going to do, but the only thing that we need to know is to realize what it should do. And so if we can watch this trend line and watch this big structure level right here and see what it does, let the price action come in. Don't short it just because it hit it, and don't go long just because it broke out of it. Give it some days and see what it does. If we can strongly move our way through, it's no problem. Dips are now going to start getting bought up. If we start getting rejected, we could see a lot more selling coming across the board here on a Bitcoin. So hopefully this helps you out, my friends, and helps you to be a little bit more prepared for the week in trading ahead. Mark out these levels, stay patient, and you will see so much more trading success. If you would like to learn more about trading, come check us out over at reallifetrading.com. Again, we are a stock market education company. We're not here to just feed you trades. We're here to teach you how to trade so that you can be in control of your life and that you can start seeing the success that you want in your financial future through trading. We have live trading, we have courses, we have community, we have everything that you need structure-wise built out, ready for you, and a roadmap that you can walk so that you can start learning how to trade on your own, whether you're brand new or whether you're advanced already. We'll walk you through whatever stage that you're at right now to get you to your end goal. Love you guys, and I'll see you next week.